Welcome back to the recap show for House of the Dragon. This week, we're going to do episode 9 from season 1. And remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of the episodes. One of the last scenes from episode 8 showed us Lady Misery still creeping around with her little birds. The first thing episode 9 shows us is that she might have known about the king's death before the Hand or the Queen. This episode is part buddy detective show.
We're not too old for this. Say it like you believe it. We're not too old for this shit. Yeah.
Because we also get Sir Butthurt, Kristen Cole, and Aemon One-Eye running around the city trying to find Aegon's goofy ass. We've also got the Kingsguard twins, Sir Eric and Sir Arik. I'm sure that won't get confusing either. But they're running around doing the same thing. Each side doesn't really know the other one's doing this, though. The twins are working specifically for Otto, versus Sir Criston and Aemond. They're out there trying to follow the Queen's orders. We get to find out a lot about these four men, and their loyalties and their states of mind.
I suffer from a very sexy learning disability. What do I call it, Kif?
Sexlexia.
It was the king's death and the council meeting about it that started this little four-man Aegon hunt. And not everybody at that meeting was okay with suddenly turning their back on Rhaenyra again. As a matter of fact, Lord Beesbury tries to jump up and say something about it, and he pretty quickly catches a fade from Sir Criston, who over-enthusiastically helps him back to his seat. So after everything that happened in the last episode, the dinner, everything that went down, we're right back to the backstabbing and plotting, as though nothing had even gone on. So anyway, Aemon and Sir Criston are searching brothels, bars, and toddler fighting arenas to try to find Aegon. All they really find is one of his bastards, apparently, that he's left behind. Sir Criston's just following orders from the Queen. But we get to see that Aemon's actually a little upset that instead of being king, since he has the ambition, the intelligence, the skills, and the huge dragon, he's out here in the streets wandering around looking for his idiot drunk brother.
Ooh, if anyone needs me, I'll be in the Angry Dome.
A brother that's actively hiding from becoming king because apparently he's never understood or heard of a king who is a drunken idiot and horrible womanizer.
Always funny, is it?
Imagine that. In the very same way that his wife/sister is a witch, Aegon is an idiot.
I am too smart. I am too smart. S-M-R-T. S-M-A.
And kind of a monster, low-key. After the twins run into one of the White Worm's people and get an offer from her involving, well, getting the Hand down there to have a meeting with them, they get spotted by Criston and Aemon. See, the White Worm's there to sell Aegon back to the Hand, Otto. And I don't know why they pay for him, to be perfectly honest. But she also wants something else. She wants things like the toddler fighting ring to be closed. Otto promises to look into it, but we'll see how far that goes. Lady Misery has the skills and has the connections, it seems, but she's just not as smooth as Varys was. Or will be, I guess. So, Starsky and Hutch follow the twins over to the temple where Aegon's basically hiding under a table for some reason. One of the twins, Sir Eric, I really don't know. I can't tell them apart. One of them walks Aegon outside and immediately gets jumped by Aemond and Sir Criston. The other brother just stands there and watches while his brother goes up against Sir Criston alone. The Targaryen boys, meanwhile, have a literal tickle fight before Aegon jumps up and tries to ask his brother to just let him get on a ship and disappear. Aemond really seems to think about this for a minute.
Meanwhile,
while all this is going on, Otto Hightower's basically dove right back into the idea of killing Rhaenyra to put Aegon on the throne head first. Alicent's also trying to get Aegon on the throne, but without killing Rhaenyra or starting a war. Otto keeps a ton of secrets from his daughter, things like his connections to the White Worm, and a lot of the plotting and planning that he's done to get Aegon on the throne as soon as the king dies. She knew nothing about all of that. But, as shady as Otto is, he is definitely not the worst thing that Alicent has to deal with today. Not even close. Larys Strong, a.k.a. the Clubfoot, a.k.a. Littlefoot, a.k.a. why is she taking off her shoes? Oh. Alright. I guess that's one way to pay for information.
Sure, we have order, but at what price?
And anyway, moving on. With all this craziness going on, Rhaenys wakes up in her room in the Red Keep to find herself locked up. She's pretty upset about this until the Queen shows up and basically tries to get her to support Aegon taking the throne instead of Rhaenyra. Rhaenys isn't really the I'm going to be persuaded type. Alicent leaves to deal with her son's coronation and probably wash her feet.
Oh, that's nasty.
So now our episode kind of splits up in between the Queen and everybody else just rounding people up to take them to the Dragon Pit to watch Aegon be crowned. While this is going on, Rhaenys gets another visitor in the night, which turns out to be one of the twins. I'm pretty sure Sir Eric. I don't know. He shows up because he can't deal with what kind of monster Aegon really is, and decides that he can't let that stand and breaks her out. Now, she's not trying to leave Meleys, her dragon, there, but it basically looks like she's going to have to, as he's trying to smuggle her down to a ship to take her to Dragonstone. All that's working out until they get caught up in a crowd and separated. That crowd is getting forced straight to the Dragon Pit for Aegon's coronation, and that works out pretty well for Rhaenys. Once they get up in the Dragon Pit, she watches while Aegon strolls up and gets himself crowned. Now, for a guy who's been running from this the whole time and constantly just acting like a fool about becoming king, it takes a few seconds of the crowd to really seem to make him change his mind about this. Up until they started cheering, he was still acting like it was some sort of punishment. At least that's the way it looked on his face. But once they started cheering, he gets about 7 seconds to enjoy being the king and all that before...
There is a beast beneath the bones.
Nothing will suck the fun out of your party like a dragon exploding through the floor. Rhaenys gives Team Green a huge dragon-shaped middle finger and has Meleys roar in everybody's faces. Nobody moves to save Aegon. Everybody just freezes. The only one that does break away is Alicent. Anyway, I don't think Rhaenys wanted to necessarily start a war or be a kinslayer, so instead of torching them, she just has the dragon roar in their face and then hops out the door and flies, presumably, to Dragonstone. And that wraps up the episode. Even though she didn't side with Alicent and the Greens, I don't think that necessarily means she is fully on Rhaenyra's side, but we'll have to see. She's still, I'm sure, pretty pissed about her son. The loyalties of the twins on the Kingsguard really come into question here, and it seems like we're going to have one for Aegon and one for Rhaenyra. That's just one more family kind of split up by this war. But not only that, they both swore oaths. So who's wrong? Whose oath are you supposed to uphold? As soon as the king was dead, Otto and Alicent didn't waste any time in taking power. They just kind of did it for different reasons. Otto did it straight for the sake of having power and being in charge. Alicent did it because of her misunderstanding what the king said and out of genuine love. So who's really wrong? I mean, other than Otto. And to be fair to Alicent, she has one son that's a monster, one son that's kind of a monster and definitely sort of a rapist or something, and an idiot. And she's also got a daughter that's a witch.
But she's a witch!
So that's a lot to have on her plate. And considering she's dealing with, Larys Strong, it's probably a lot on her feet also. On a side note, I'd originally forgot about Lord Beesbury. And in the books, Sir Criston cuts his throat. I actually kind of like the way they changed it up, and one of the reasons I like it is now we know what those little marbles are for in the, on the table there in the small council. They're obviously manslaughter marbles. I'm also going to touch on this briefly, like Laris did. And just say, since they had this whole shoes, socks, bare feet thing down, it's pretty obvious that this exchange of information and feet has been going on for a while now. So I wonder just how much of her dad's behind-the-scenes stuff she really does know about. That's also a really strange fetish to have in the days before running water when, horse and dragon crap was all over the streets, but you do you. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to criticize Rhaenys for not just, roasting everybody and ending it all right there, but it really isn't her war to start. Why would she do that for somebody who, as far as she's aware, killed her son? One of the other points I like was how hard they're driving home the fact that Otto is really doing his own thing behind the Queen's back. He doesn't really care that much about her opinion, it seems. Another thing I thought was cool that I just noticed on rewatching this was the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard is a Westerling. So he is the ancestor of Robb Stark's wife from the original Game of Thrones. That was kind of dope, and I don't know how I missed that the first time around. But now that he's quit, is he going to show up over there with Rhaenyra at Dragonstone, or is he just going to disappear from our story? Our look at the little toddler fighting arenas and everything in Flea Bottom really kind of tell us what a messed up dude Aegon probably is and what a messed up king he's going to end up being. A few nobles also got wrapped up in this episode, but other than Lady Fell, I didn't really have a chance to figure out who it was. One of them got hung for trying to bail out of the city after kinda swearing allegiance to Aegon, but I'm not sure which house he came from. But I think it shows the way Otto's going to handle anybody that doesn't want to just straight up swear to Aegon.
Kill him. Kill them all.
And on a closing note, I kind of think Melee's, Rhaenys dragon, looks a little bit more like one of Dany's dragons, Drogon and them. So it's brought up the question in my mind, I wonder if we're going to find out just where Dany's eggs came from in this series. That would be pretty cool. So like, subscribe, and drop me a comment if you enjoyed this, or if there's anything else you want me to jump on and start making reviews for. So anyway, next week, episode 10, the season finale.